Well, back in the country, Attorney General Githu Muigai now says he was not consulted in the negotiations that yielded the new election laws. Githu, however, praised the ongoing Senate hearings, saying that was a more promising route towards a violence-free election. Well, he spoke to Yvonne Okwara Matole in an exclusive interview that will air tonight on Checkpoint, but here's a sneak preview.
In which the amendments were passed, the amendment to the initial law itself came from a bipartisan approach with a joint parliamentary select committee, and that if any changes were to be made to that specific law, that it should have been subject to more consultation. Some saying the majority side was sort of bullying its way with passing that law. Do you agree? Because there was also the question about extending the term of the Joint Parliamentary Select Committee or finding a different sort of body to midwife that process.
Well, as you will recall, when that process commenced a couple of months ago, I was invited by Parliament to talk to them about my own thinking of where we were in terms of the impasse around IEBC. And I advised in broad terms that if the worst came to the worst, we would have to let the commissioners go and we would have to rethink questions about timelines and so on and so forth. And much of what I told the committee was taken on board. But when they went to the drafting part, they did not call on my expertise, or rather the expertise of my officers. They did it on their own. So essentially, it was a parliamentary initiative. In fact, I was shocked to read in the paper some politicians attacking me for failure to advise that the law should have been in one way as opposed to the other, when everybody who cared to follow the process remembers that it was wholly and exclusively a political process centered in Parliament. Indeed, the politicians themselves agreed not to make any alterations whatsoever. To the extent that now, on second thoughts, they seem to think that they didn't quite capture the essence of what they wanted. I think it is legitimate to reopen the question. Now, the direction that will go, I do not know. I have been summoned by the Senate on the Tuesday, and I intend to go and give them the benefit of my experience.
All right. Do you think, in hindsight, it should have been subjected to debate? I know both principals from Jubilee and CORD urged their members in the National Assembly to pass the amendments with changing not so much as a comma or a full stop. And we know and understand the process of lawmaking. In hindsight,
To the extent, the reason we first went to Parliament to look into this question was because we wanted to prepare ourselves for free, fair, peaceful elections. To that extent, that spirit must be retained, because we do not want anything that can poison the electoral process. To my mind, the direction Senate is going is a good direction, because it's a direction that says, let us reason together, all of us, and see where we can give and take, so that this ceases to be the issue, and the issue becomes building IEBC, capacitating it, getting it to procure what it needs, and revisiting the voter register, and making sure we are ready.
Professor, there have been some people that have said we cannot possibly be ready in time. My question to you is there any window in the law that would allow the election to be postponed? Or do we just say, you know, do or die, it's August, whether we can get this ready or not?
We must do everything humanly possible to do the election within the constitutionally mandated time. However, should a big if for some reason we are not ready, then it is better, in my judgment, to postpone the election within the limits of the law, other than have a deeply flawed election that can lead to instability of a nature that none of us want to see.
What would that provision in law be as you advise the country right now? And like we said, it's a big if, and we're seeing efforts being made to make sure that we are ready in time. But should we get to a decision like that, what would that window in law be to allow the election to be postponed from August?
There have been initiatives in the past that I'm aware of in Parliament. There have been bills that have sought to change the voting date from August to December. I believe that bill was defeated once. I don't know whether it was shelved or I don't. That is one way of going about it. That is to change the election date itself for all time.
All right, so you can catch the full interview tonight on Checkpoint with my colleague Yvonne Okwara.